Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Jeremy. This is the Financial Education Channel, and today we're talking about Snapchat and the potential Snapchat IPO that could possibly be coming in the future. It's been rumored that it's very close. They're in deep talks with companies about going public for a certain valuation. They seem attractive, and within the coming year, this is now the time to finally go public. But nothing's for certain yet, so we're only looking at the potential IPO process. And the only reason I'm even doing this video today is because I had at least 10 people request in the past week. Literally, over 10 people within the last week request that I did a video specifically covering Snapchat and the potential IPO situation and my thoughts on it and all those kinds of things. So I'm here to talk you guys through the process today and tell you a little bit about Snapchat and kind of just educate you. And we'll kind of look at some different things on, should you buy Snapchat? Should you not? Will I be buying Snapchat? We're going to get into all those things today. So first off, what is Snapchat? Snapchat is a fun messaging app that's on Android, iPhone. You can capture a photo or a brief video with it, then add a caption or doodle or filter lens over top and send it to someone else, a friend or whatnot. You can add your snap to your story, a 24-hour collection of all your snaps that's broadcasted to the world. So say you're on vacation, you're in Hawaii, you can add all these snaps to a story basically. And so if somebody logs on and they're a friend of yours on Snapchat, they can go in and see, oh, this is all the, the things they did in Hawaii today. They're all like 10-second or 5-second clips of, oh yeah, we're at the luau now. Oh, we're on the beach, this and that. So you can put it all into a story. Let's go back here. But these are merely part of many features within Snapchat. Yes, at its core, Snapchat is used to send photos and videos to friends. Your friends can view those snaps for up to 10 seconds, and then the snaps disappear. Well, that's all fine and dandy, and people are still left stumped by Snapchat. But basically, at its core, it's basically a way to share yourself on video or photos. That's basically what it is, and mainly video. You take a quick snap and talk about whatever you want to talk about, 5 or 10 seconds, and that's it, or show whatever you want to show. And that's basically the service. That is the main guts of the service. That's why most people use Snapchat, to be honest. And the whole 10-second thing, that was kind of cool at first. I remember when I first heard about Snapchat, I was like, that's pretty innovative. That's something different. And then I thought, that's kind of dumb because you know what? Somebody could just, screenshot their phone if they wanted to keep that on their phone. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that. So how much of that even matters now is beyond me. But that's basically what Snapchat is. It's a photo and video sharing service with your friends. Now this is interesting. This came out this past summer. Snapchat passes Twitter in daily usage. Snapchat has 150 million people using the service each day, said people familiar with the matter. This makes the 4-year-old messaging app more popular than Twitter by daily active users. So that is pretty amazing. 150,000 people using the service 150 million people using the service each day. Think about that, guys. That is a massive amount of people. That's almost half of the United States using the messaging app every single day. Not just like using the service, once a month or once a week. That's every single day, that 150 million number. So that's very impressive. So we can see that Snapchat's a huge service. They're certainly no Facebook or by any stretch of the imagination, but they are a monster. Now, how does Snapchat make money, guys? This is the next thing. How do they make money? They basically make money from ads. They do the same thing everybody else does, except the format is different in Snapchat. They're called sponsored. They're called like sponsored stories and things like that you can click on it, and a brand could do an innovative, I guess you could say it, more authentic type commercial showing off things, and you can watch it that way. Sometimes in a filtered lens, you'll see in the background, it will show, a movie poster or whatnot. Big movies have paid a lot of money to Snapchat to have a featured lens type situation, and then people take their picture and the movie's the backdrop, and then those people share it with their friends and so on and so forth. So those ways, that's how basically Snapchat makes all its money now. It's basically from ads. They're just served up a little different than everyone else. On YouTube, for instance, ads are served up either on the sidebar or they're served up, before you watch the video, at the very end of the video. Snapchat, it's served up, when you're going through your friend's feed and whatnot, sometimes at the bottom of it, those kinds of things. So basically they're an ad service. Now, they will have some money coming in some other different ways in the future, and we'll get into that as we go on here. Now, how much revenue does Snapchat actually make? So Snapchat reportedly, this is reportedly, is not like for sure stuff. This is reportedly from, this source and that source. They're hoping to generate $1 billion by 2017, so next year. A new report from eMarketer says the company is set to generate $366 million this year, the year we're currently in ad revenue, and next year close to $1 billion. So we see phenomenal growth. Over 3 times the amount of money, or around 3 times the amount of money they expect to make more next year than this year, and that's a huge amount to go from $366 billion to $1 billion in revenue. That's a monster jump, but it's not unprecedented. We've seen this from Facebook when it's earlier growth mode. We've seen this from Twitter. Sometimes, when you're growing from the hundreds of millions into that billion category, it's actually really easy when you've got such a big network, and then all of a sudden the advertisers come in and they're like, okay, we need to start advertising on this service because it's super cheap and whatnot. So they all start coming in at once, and then that just makes the revenue go up substantially. But regardless, that's huge revenue growth. 366 million to 1 billion. If that stays true, that's really phenomenal. Now, listen to this, guys. Facebook, they tried to buy out Snapchat for $3 billion reportedly in 2013. Now, the Snapchat was made in late 2011. So imagine that, guys. Imagine being that 22-year-old or 21-year-old, whoever, the guy that created this app. You go from being college, and nobody, having no money, and within 2 years, your app is worth $3 billion, and then you don't even sell it. You don't sell it because you're like, you know what, I think we're going to get a lot more money than that in the future. It was a good move by him for not selling it, the same way it was a good move by Zuckerberg to not sell Facebook to one of the companies that wanted to buy them out in the early days. But imagine that. Imagine turning down a $3 billion deal when you built that company in 2 years or less than 2 years. $3 billion. That's a lot of money to turn down. It just shows you the power of apps, basically, and what it's basically transformed the whole economy. Unbelievable stuff. And yeah, I'm not surprised Facebook would try to buy it. So let's talk about this initial public offering. Snap is working on an initial public offering that could value the fast-growing virtual messaging company at $25 billion or more, making it one of the highest profile share debuts in years, possibly signaling a turnaround in the new issue market. So, around $25 billion or up valuation. Am I surprised by this? Not really. We saw Facebook, who, they were a lot bigger than Snapchat, at least from what we've heard about Snapchat, user-wise and revenue-wise. Facebook was much bigger. So Facebook actually IPO'd around 90 to about 100 billion, where Snapchat's valuing, 25 to maybe 35 billion. So that's around the range I would expect Snapchat to come out at. Now, something I want to talk to you guys about real quick is when a company is doing an IPO, and this is one of the reasons I actually don't invest in IPOs, when they first come public like this, and buy it in the first week or even the first month for that matter. When a company comes public at an IPO, do you think the owner of that company, do you think the main shareholders are going to sell that for a discount by any stretch of the imagination? Heck no, they're going to try to they're only going to come public if they're getting the maximum amount of money for their shares, because they're going to have to give up some to even go public in the first place. So unless they're going to get a great deal, they're not going to go public in the first place. So you're probably not getting a great deal as a shareholder if you buy into that IPO right off the bat. Unless you hold it for years and years and years and you believe in that service or that company for years to come, then maybe it's worth buying it, initially right early on, because you're like, I just want to get in. I don't want it to go up more. I just want in and hold my shares for the next 10, 20 years or whatever. That's fine and dandy. But if you're planning on getting rid of those shares within the next year or two, it's not really smart to play IPOs, in my humble opinion, just because they're not, generally speaking, they're not valued correctly. They're usually overvalued. Because who's going to take, would I sell my company for an undervalued price? Would I sell my little photo and video company that's growing? Would I sell that for a price that's less than it's worth? No. Would I sell this channel for a price that's less than it's worth? No, I wouldn't sell this channel no matter what. But still, I'm trying to get across my point. You're not going to sell something that's growing unless you know what I mean? You're not going to sell it unless you're getting a great value for it, because there's no reason to sell it in the first place. They got plenty of cash. They can go raise money in the private market and whatnot. It's nothing for them. So I want to get that out there. Now, let's look at this. This is, I would say, the biggest stock offerings that came out within the last, I would say, 5 years. One is Facebook, which came out public May 18, 2012, excuse me. And the other would be Alibaba, which came public about a year or two ago. But let's look at Facebook, for instance. Facebook came out May 18, 2012. They came out at a share price of $38. That first day, they closed at $38.23, so barely up. Now let's go all the way down and look what the price was August 20th, about 6 months later, less than 6 months later, actually. The price was $20 a share, guys. Huge drop. A huge drop in Facebook. By the way, around that time, in that August timeframe, I was buying Facebook shares all in that low $20, even as low as $19, $18. It even touched into the 18s at one point. And I had like a $19.90 cost basis. Unfortunately, I sold that a few weeks later when the stock went up to, I think, like $22, $23. So I sold it like a retard, because now Facebook shares are freaking like $120 a share. And it's 4 years later, so I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I do that? But, you know, that's what happens. But bottom line is, you can see that Facebook, you know, that was a growth engine. That was a monster. And their share price got nailed on that, guys. It really did. They dropped half their value. So that could happen to Snapchat. So you gotta be ready for that if that does happen. So if you think you're just going to automatically make a ton of money by getting in Snapchat and doing a short-term trade on it, you could, but you also might lose a ton of money like you would have if you would have done Facebook and try to hold it for a short term, and then you're holding it at $20. You're like, crap, I don't even want these shares in the first place. Now, why did I buy Facebook at that time? I could see Facebook's vision. I understood Facebook really well. Will I be buying Snapchat? No, I will not be buying Snapchat, because I don't understand Snapchat's business model enough, in my opinion. I don't see enough vision in it for me personally. And for those reasons, I will not be buying the Snapchat IPO. But like I said, I did buy Facebook when it dropped to $20, you know, $21, $20, $19. I was buying at that time. I should have held for longer, but I started investing in other companies that I thought had more potential. But I understood Facebook. I really understood them, and I believed in the growth and all those kinds of things. So when you're investing in an IPO, guys, it really comes down to, do you believe in that company? Do you want to hold it for the very long term? Very long term, I mean 3, 5, 10 years in the future, at least. 3 years minimum. 3 years minimum, because they're not selling that company for cheap price, guys. They're not. So that's what it comes down to in IPO. Do you see a real huge long-term vision for that company? If you do with Snapchat, then it might be a great one for you. If you don't, and you're not a huge believer in it, then I would say stay away, because why would you want to get involved with something that could do what Facebook did? Go from $38 when an IPO down to $20, and then you're stuck holding shares at $20 a share, and you know, you could have been involved with a company that you really believed in. So that's kind of my take on it, guys. So I will not be buying Snapchat shares, but I will be following the company. I'll see, hey, maybe does something happen like happened to Facebook where it loses half its value within a few months after? Then maybe I go dip my toes in a little bit. We'll see what happens, guys. I hope this helped you guys immensely today in understanding Snapchat, all you guys that requested this video. And if you have not subscribed, you may want to. I talk a ton about the stock market on this channel like we did today. Talk about entrepreneurship. I'm an entrepreneur. I talk about entrepreneurship. And we talk about personal finance on this channel every single week. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.